Have you ever gone to the grocery store, looking for one simple canned item, only to find an empty space where it should be? Maybe the shelf isn't completely empty, but your usual brand is gone. The larger cans have disappeared, or there's only one expensive option left. That's one of the strange things about grocery shortages. They don't always happen all at once. Sometimes, certain products simply become harder to find. A popular brand disappears first. Then the store stops carrying a particular size. Then shoppers start noticing fewer options than usual. And before long, the item you always assumed would be available becomes something you have to search for. Canned foods are especially important because so many households depend on them. They are convenient, shelf-stable, easy to store, and in many cases, ready to eat or quick to prepare. But canned foods can still be affected by supply disruptions. Problems with crop harvests, weather, transportation, manufacturing, packaging materials, seasonal demand, recalls, and sudden increases in consumer buying can all affect what ends up on grocery store shelves. That doesn't mean every canned food on today's list is disappearing everywhere. Availability can vary dramatically depending on the store, brand, region, and time of year. But these are 12 canned foods worth paying attention to if they're items your household regularly uses. The key isn't panic buying. It's smart shopping. If you see a product you use regularly at a reasonable price, buying a little extra for your normal pantry can be a practical way to stay prepared. Before we start, subscribe to Prepper Pulse and turn on notifications. We upload new videos daily with practical preparedness tips, grocery advice, food storage ideas, and emergency planning strategies to help you stay informed and ready. Now let's count down 12 canned foods that could become harder to find when grocery supplies get disrupted. Starting with number 12. Number 12. Canned pumpkin. Starting at number 12 is a product that can seem easy to find for most of the year, until demand suddenly changes. Canned pumpkin. For many shoppers, canned pumpkin is something they barely think about. It's just another product sitting quietly on the shelf. But during certain times of the year, demand can increase dramatically. Holiday baking, pies, breads, soups, and seasonal recipes can send more shoppers looking for the same cans at the same time. And when supply is already limited, shelves can empty faster than expected. There's another reason canned pumpkin can become difficult to find. The supply depends heavily on agricultural production and processing. Weather conditions, crop yields, harvest timing, and manufacturing capacity can all affect how much product ultimately reaches stores. That doesn't mean canned pumpkin will disappear from every grocery store. But if your household uses it regularly, waiting until the last minute during a period of high demand may leave you with fewer choices. You might find that your preferred brand is gone. The store only has smaller cans available, or the remaining options are significantly more expensive. Canned pumpkin is also useful beyond holiday desserts. It can be added to soups, baked goods, smoothies, oatmeal, and other recipes. That makes it a product some households like to keep available throughout the year. When storing canned pumpkin, keep unopened cans in a cool, dry location. Avoid excessive heat, and rotate your supply by using older cans first. Before opening, inspect the can. Don't use products that are swollen, leaking, severely rusted, or badly damaged. The lesson here isn't to clear the entire shelf. It's simply to pay attention. If canned pumpkin is something your household genuinely uses, consider keeping a reasonable backup supply before the busiest seasonal demand arrives. Canned pumpkin earns the number 12 spot because demand can be highly seasonal. Supply depends on agricultural and processing factors, and availability can become more limited when many shoppers start looking for it at the same time. And the next canned food is something far more common. But that's exactly why it can disappear quickly when shoppers begin stocking their pantries. Number 11. Canned green beans. At number 11 is a canned food that many people probably walk past without giving it much thought. Canned green beans. They're affordable, easy to store, and simple to add to almost any meal. But because they're such a common pantry staple, availability can change quickly when stores experience unusually high demand or supply disruptions. During normal times, you may see several brands lined up across an entire shelf. Store brands, national brands, regular varieties, no salt added options, different can sizes. But when supply tightens, those choices can disappear surprisingly fast. You may still find canned green beans, just not the brand you normally buy. Or the only cans left may be the more expensive versions. That's one reason it's useful to look beyond a single favorite brand. If your household regularly eats canned green beans, knowing which alternatives you're willing to buy gives you more flexibility. Canned vegetables can also be affected by factors that begin long before they reach the grocery store. Growing conditions, harvest timing, processing capacity, can availability, transportation, and retailer inventory decisions can all influence what eventually reaches the shelf. A problem at any point can affect availability later. And because canned vegetables have a long storage life while unopened, shoppers sometimes buy more than usual when they become concerned about shortages. That can create a sudden increase in demand. And once shelves start looking thin, more people may begin buying extra. The best approach is not panic. It's preparation. If canned green beans are part of your normal meals, keep a reasonable amount in rotation. Use the oldest cans first. Replace them as you go. And avoid waiting until you only have one can left before shopping for more. Canned green beans earn the number 11 spot because they're a common household staple. Supply depends on agricultural and manufacturing systems, and high demand can quickly reduce the number of choices available. And the next canned food is something that can disappear for a completely different reason, because many shoppers rely on it as a fast and affordable source of protein. Number 10. Canned chicken. At number 10 is a canned food that can become much more popular when fresh meat becomes expensive or difficult to keep on hand. Canned chicken. Unlike raw chicken, an unopened can doesn't depend on your refrigerator or freezer. It's already cooked, easy to store, and simple to use in a variety of meals. You can add it to sandwiches, soups, rice dishes, wraps, casseroles, or quick pantry meals. That convenience is exactly why demand can increase when shoppers start thinking more seriously about food storage. And when more people begin looking for shelf-stable protein at the same time, certain products can become harder to find. Availability can also vary significantly between stores. One location might have an entire section of canned chicken. Another might only carry a few cans. And if a particular supplier experiences a production or distribution issue, local shelves can look very different from one store to the next. Canned chicken can also be affected by the broader cost of poultry, processing, packaging, and transportation. When those costs or supply conditions change, shoppers may notice fewer options or higher prices. That's why it can be useful to avoid depending on a single product. A smart pantry includes variety, canned chicken, beans, fish, and other shelf-stable protein options can give you flexibility if one item becomes temporarily difficult to find. When storing canned chicken, keep unopened cans in a cool, dry place. Rotate your supply by using older products first, and inspect cans before opening. Avoid anything that is swollen, leaking, severely rusted, or badly damaged. Canned chicken earns the number 10 spot because it's convenient, shelf-stable, versatile, and a popular alternative when households want protein that doesn't require refrigeration. And the next canned food is something many people associate with a simple comfort meal. But when demand rises, the shelf can start looking empty much faster than you might expect. Number 9. Canned soup. At number 9 is one of the most recognizable foods in almost every grocery store. Canned soup. Walk into a supermarket during normal conditions and you might find an entire aisle filled with it. Chicken noodle, tomato, vegetable, bean soups, beef stew, and dozens of other varieties. But that wide selection can change quickly. During severe weather, power outages, cold seasons, or periods when shoppers are stocking their pantries, canned soup can become one of the first categories to experience heavier demand. And the shelves don't have to become completely empty for availability to become a problem. Your favorite flavor might disappear. The larger cans may be gone. Store brand options may run out. And suddenly the only products left are the varieties nobody normally buys. That's how grocery shortages often feel at the consumer level. Not necessarily total disappearance, but fewer choices. Canned soup also depends on a long chain of ingredients. Vegetables, meat, broth, seasonings, noodles, packaging, and transportation. A disruption involving any of those areas can potentially affect production or distribution. And because canned soup is ready to eat or quick to heat, it's especially attractive to households preparing for emergencies. That can cause demand to rise suddenly. The smart approach is simple. If canned soup is something your household already eats, keep a reasonable rotating supply. Buy the flavors you actually enjoy. Use them during normal weeks. And replace them before you run out. That way, you aren't rushing to the store after shelves have already started thinning. Canned soup earns the number 9 spot because it's convenient, widely used, dependent on multiple supply inputs, and often sees stronger demand when households prepare for storms or other disruptions. And the next canned food is a basic ingredient that can disappear quietly, especially when shoppers are trying to build cheap, filling meals from pantry staples. Number 8. Canned tomatoes. At number 8 is a pantry ingredient that can quietly disappear faster than many people expect. Canned tomatoes, diced tomatoes, crushed tomatoes, whole peeled tomatoes, tomato sauce, tomato paste. These products may look like separate grocery items, but many of them depend on the same broader tomato growing and processing system. And that means a problem affecting harvests, processing, or distribution can potentially influence multiple products at once. Canned tomatoes are also used in an enormous number of meals. Pasta sauces, soups, stews, chili, rice dishes, casseroles, and many other recipes. So when shoppers want inexpensive ingredients that can help stretch a meal, canned tomatoes often become a popular choice. That's when availability can start changing. The shelf may not suddenly become empty. Instead, certain sizes disappear. Store brands become harder to find, or only premium products remain. And if you've always bought the same brand, you may suddenly realize you don't have as many choices as before. Another factor is seasonal production. Fresh tomatoes are harvested and processed according to agricultural schedules. The amount processed, the condition of the crop, and manufacturing capacity can all affect the supply moving through the system. That's why it makes sense to keep canned tomatoes in regular rotation if you use them frequently. Don't wait until every can in your pantry is gone. And don't buy products simply because you're worried about a shortage. Instead, maintain a reasonable supply based on your normal cooking habits. When storing canned tomatoes, keep unopened cans in a cool, dry place. Use older products first, and inspect cans before opening. Avoid cans that are swollen, leaking, severely rusted, or badly damaged. Canned tomatoes earn the number 8 spot because they're highly versatile, connected to agricultural production and processing, and used in enough everyday meals that demand can quickly affect what shoppers find on the shelf. And now we're moving into the final 7. The next canned food is one that can become especially popular when fresh fruit is expensive or simply unavailable. Number 7. Canned peaches. We're now at number 7. And this is one canned food that can become noticeably harder to find when fruit supplies or consumer demand start shifting. Canned peaches. They're sweet, convenient, shelf-stable while unopened, and easy to use in everything from quick snacks to desserts. That makes them a popular pantry item for households that want fruit available without worrying about refrigeration. But canned peaches depend on a process that begins long before the can reaches the store. The peaches have to be grown, harvested, transported, processed, packed, and distributed. Weather problems during the growing season can affect crop production. Processing capacity can influence how much product is canned, and transportation or distribution issues can affect how quickly those cans reach individual stores. Then there's demand. When fresh fruit becomes expensive or less available, some shoppers may turn to shelf-stable alternatives. Canned fruit suddenly becomes a more attractive option. And when a popular product starts selling faster than expected, stores can run low before the next shipment arrives. You might still find canned fruit on the shelf, but not peaches. Or perhaps only a smaller selection of brands. Maybe the large family-size cans disappear first. Or the store-brand option is gone while higher-priced products remain. That's why flexibility matters. If your household likes canned peaches, it can help to know which alternative canned fruits you'll also use. Pears, pineapple, mandarin oranges, and fruit cocktail can all provide variety when one product isn't available. The goal isn't to panic buy every can you see. It's to avoid depending completely on one specific product. Keep what you normally use. Rotate it. And replace it gradually. Canned peaches earn the number 7 spot because they're dependent on agricultural production, seasonal processing, and consumer demand that can shift quickly when fresh fruit becomes less convenient or more expensive. And the next canned food is something that many people depend on as an inexpensive pantry protein, which means it can disappear quickly when shoppers begin stocking up. Number 6. Canned tuna. We're entering the final 6. At number 6 is one of the most popular shelf-stable protein foods in the grocery store. Canned tuna. It's affordable compared with many fresh protein options. Easy to store, already cooked, and simple to turn into a quick meal. You can use it in sandwiches, salads, pasta dishes, rice bowls, or eat it with crackers. That versatility is exactly why canned tuna can see increased demand when shoppers begin building a pantry supply. And when demand rises, the most popular brands and package sizes may disappear first. You might still see tuna on the shelf, but not the type you normally buy. Water-packed tuna may be gone. Only larger cans may remain. Or the lower-priced store brand might disappear while premium options are still available. Supply can also be influenced by more than just what happens inside the grocery store. Fishing conditions, processing, international supply chains, packaging, transportation, and retailer inventory decisions can all influence availability. Because canned tuna is sold across so many different markets, changes in one part of the supply chain can sometimes affect consumers far from where the fish was originally caught or processed. That doesn't mean canned tuna is about to disappear everywhere, but it does show why relying entirely on one product can leave your pantry less flexible. If you regularly eat canned tuna, consider rotating a reasonable supply and including other shelf-stable proteins as well. Canned salmon, canned chicken, canned beans, and other options can help give your pantry more variety. When storing canned tuna, keep unopened cans in a cool, dry place. Use older products first, and inspect every can before opening. Avoid cans that are swollen, leaking, severely rusted, or badly damaged. Canned tuna earns the number 6 spot because it's a widely used pantry protein, depends on complex fishing and processing systems, and can see strong demand whenever households begin stocking shelf-stable foods. And now we're down to the final 5. The next canned food is something many families consider an essential pantry staple, especially when they need a quick and inexpensive meal. Number 5. Canned beans. We're now in the top 5. At number 5 is one of the most dependable canned foods in any pantry. Canned beans. Black beans, pinto beans, kidney beans, navy beans, and many other varieties. They're affordable, filling, versatile, and already cooked. That's a major advantage when people want food that can be prepared quickly. And because canned beans are such a common pantry staple, demand can increase rapidly when shoppers begin thinking about stretching their grocery budgets or preparing for possible disruptions. The result doesn't always look like a complete shortage. Instead, you may notice that certain varieties disappear first. Maybe the low-sodium version is gone. Maybe the store brand sells out. Or perhaps only expensive specialty products remain. Canned beans also rely on several parts of the supply chain. Agricultural production, harvesting, processing, canning, packaging, and transportation. A disruption in any of those areas can affect how many products make it onto store shelves. There's another reason canned beans can become more popular. They're extremely flexible. You can add them to soups, rice dishes, chili, salads, or simple one-pot meals. That makes them an attractive choice for households trying to make inexpensive meals from a limited number of ingredients. The smart approach is not to clear the shelf. It's to maintain a normal working supply. Buy the varieties your household actually eats. Use older cans first, and replace them gradually. That way, your pantry stays useful without becoming a collection of forgotten food. Canned beans earn the number 5 spot because they're affordable, versatile, widely used, and can experience stronger demand when households start looking for inexpensive shelf-stable foods. And now we're down to the final 4. The next canned food is something that can become especially difficult to find when fresh vegetables are expensive or unavailable. Number 4. Canned corn. We're down to the final 4. At number 4 is a simple canned vegetable that can become surprisingly difficult to find when shoppers start building up their pantry supplies. Canned corn. It may not seem like an essential product, but it's one of those ingredients that can fit into dozens of meals. Rice bowls, soups, chili, salads, casseroles, and simple side dishes. That versatility makes canned corn a popular choice for households looking for inexpensive shelf-stable foods. And when demand suddenly increases, popular canned vegetables can disappear from shelves faster than expected. You may still see other vegetables available, but the corn section might be noticeably thinner. Store brands can sell out first. Large cans may disappear, and lower-priced options can become harder to find. Canned corn also depends on agricultural production. The crop has to be planted, grown, harvested, transported, processed, packaged, and distributed. Weather conditions can influence harvests. Processing capacity can affect how much product gets canned. And transportation problems can delay deliveries. Then there's the grocery store factor. A store doesn't have unlimited shelf space. If one product sells unusually quickly, the shelf can remain empty until the next shipment arrives. That doesn't necessarily mean there's a nationwide shortage. Sometimes it's simply a temporary inventory problem. But from the shopper's perspective, the result is the same. You came looking for canned corn, and there isn't any. That's why it's smart to maintain a reasonable rotating supply if your household uses it regularly. You don't need dozens of cans. Just enough to avoid depending on your next grocery trip. Check the expiration or best by information. Store unopened cans in a cool, dry location. And use older cans first. Before opening, inspect the can carefully and avoid anything swollen, leaking, severely rusted, or badly damaged. Canned corn earns the number 4 spot because it's inexpensive, versatile, heavily used, and dependent on an agricultural and processing system that can be affected by weather, production, transportation, and sudden changes in demand. And now we're down to the final 3. The next canned food is something many people don't want to be without when they're trying to build a dependable pantry. Number 3. Canned fruit cocktail. We're down to the final 3. At number 3 is a canned food that can become surprisingly difficult to find when shoppers start looking for affordable shelf-stable fruit. Canned fruit cocktail. It might not be the first item you think about when discussing grocery shortages. But that's exactly why it's worth watching. Fruit cocktail combines several different fruits into one convenient product. That makes it useful as a snack, side dish, dessert ingredient, or simple addition to breakfast. And unlike fresh fruit, an unopened can sit in your pantry without refrigeration. That makes it attractive when households want fruit available during periods when fresh produce is expensive, limited, or inconvenient. But canned fruit cocktail depends on several different supply inputs. The fruits need to be grown and harvested. Then they have to be processed, packaged, and transported. If production changes for one or more of the fruits used in the blend, manufacturers may have to adjust sourcing or production. And when demand rises at the same time, shelves can become thinner. You might notice that the familiar brand is gone. The larger cans have disappeared. Or the remaining products are significantly more expensive. Sometimes the issue isn't the food itself. It can be packaging, transportation, retail inventory, or a temporary delay between shipments. That means an empty shelf doesn't automatically prove there's a nationwide shortage. But if you regularly use canned fruit cocktail, it's still worth having a reasonable backup supply. The best strategy is rotation. Buy what you normally eat. Use the oldest cans first. Then replace them. And if fruit cocktail isn't available, know which alternatives your household will actually use. Canned peaches, pears, pineapple, mandarin oranges. Having alternatives gives you much more flexibility than relying on one exact product. When storing canned fruit cocktail, keep unopened cans in a cool, dry place. Avoid excessive heat. And inspect the can before opening. Never use a can that is swollen, leaking, severely rusted, or badly damaged. Canned fruit cocktail earns the number 3 spot because it's convenient, shelf-stable, widely useful, and dependent on multiple fruits, processing operations, packaging, and distribution networks. And now we're down to the final 2. The next canned food is one that can become extremely valuable when households want a convenient protein source that doesn't depend on refrigeration. Number 2. Canned salmon. We're down to the final 2. At number 2 is a shelf-stable protein that many shoppers turn to when they want something nutritious, convenient, and easy to store. Canned salmon. Canned salmon can become especially attractive when fresh seafood is expensive, unavailable, or simply inconvenient. It's already cooked. It doesn't need refrigeration while unopened. And it can be used in several different meals. You can mix it with crackers. Add it to salads. Combine it with rice. Use it in sandwiches. Or turn it into salmon patties when you have the ability to cook. That versatility makes it useful for both everyday pantry meals and emergency preparedness. But canned salmon depends on a complex supply chain. Fish have to be harvested, transported, processed, canned, packaged, and distributed. Changes in fishing conditions, processing capacity, transportation, or international trade can all influence how much product reaches grocery stores. And when shoppers start stocking up on shelf-stable protein, demand can increase at the same time. That's when availability can become noticeably different. Maybe the usual brand disappears. Maybe only smaller cans remain. Or perhaps the shelf still has salmon, but at a much higher price. Again, that doesn't automatically mean there's a nationwide shortage. Local inventory can change for many reasons. But if canned salmon is a regular part of your household's diet, maintaining a reasonable rotating supply can help you avoid being completely dependent on the next delivery. When storing canned salmon, keep unopened cans in a cool, dry location. Use older cans first, and inspect each can before opening. Avoid cans that are swollen, leaking, severely rusted, or badly damaged. It's also smart to keep different shelf-stable proteins in your pantry. Canned tuna, canned chicken, beans, and other protein sources can provide alternatives if one product becomes difficult to find. Canned salmon earns the number 2 spot because it's a convenient shelf-stable protein, relies on a complex supply chain, and can become more difficult to find when demand rises or distribution is disrupted. And now we've reached number 1. The final canned food is one of the most basic pantry proteins, and it's something millions of households rely on for quick, affordable meals. Number 1. Canned ravioli. We've reached number 1. And instead of another canned protein we've already covered, this final spot goes to a convenient pantry meal that can become surprisingly difficult to find when shoppers start stocking up. Canned ravioli. It's one of those foods people often overlook until they need something quick. The pasta and filling are already prepared. The can sit in the pantry without refrigeration while unopened. And depending on the product, it can be eaten with minimal preparation. That makes canned ravioli particularly attractive during storms, power outages, busy weeks, or periods when shoppers are trying to build a backup food supply. You can simply open the can and eat it. Or heat it if you have a safe cooking method. And because it's already a complete combination of pasta and filling, you don't need several separate ingredients to create a basic meal. That's a major advantage when grocery shopping becomes difficult. But convenience is also what can drive demand. When households start looking for inexpensive foods that are easy to prepare and don't require refrigeration, ready-to-eat canned meals can become popular very quickly. You may walk into a store and find plenty of canned vegetables, plenty of soup, but the ready-to-eat pasta section may look noticeably thinner. Certain flavors may disappear first. Store brands may sell out. Larger cans may become harder to find. And the remaining options may cost more. Availability can also depend on manufacturing and distribution. Canned ravioli requires pasta, filling ingredients, sauce, packaging, processing, and transportation. A disruption affecting any part of that chain can potentially influence how much product reaches individual stores. That doesn't mean canned ravioli is disappearing everywhere. A temporary empty shelf may simply mean the store is waiting for its next shipment. But if your household regularly eats it, maintaining a small rotating supply can give you more flexibility. Choose varieties your family actually enjoys. Buy reasonable quantities. Use older cans first. And replace what you consume. As with every canned food, storage matters. Keep unopened cans in a cool, dry location. Protect them from excessive heat. And inspect the can before opening. Don't use cans that are swollen, leaking, severely rusted, or badly damaged. And remember, once you open the can, the food is no longer shelf-stable in the same way. If refrigeration isn't available, don't leave leftovers sitting at room temperature for an extended period. Plan your portions accordingly and follow safe food handling guidance. Canned ravioli earns the #1 spot because it's a ready-to-eat meal, requires minimal preparation, doesn't need refrigeration while unopened, and can become especially attractive when shoppers want convenient pantry foods. If you found this video useful, subscribe to Prepper Pulse and turn on notifications. We upload new videos daily with practical preparedness tips, grocery advice, food storage ideas, and emergency planning strategies to help you stay informed and ready. Stay prepared, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next video.